Hey food nerds, and welcome to another video with the Cutting Board Academy. If you'd like to keep up with our discussions and conversations, please hit the subscribe button. And if you'd also like to follow us on social media, please see below in the description box. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All right, so today we are going to talk about garlic because it is garlic season. So garlic is one of our favorite flavors to use when we're cooking. And in this video, we're going to talk about chopping and cooking with garlic. And hopefully these are some tips that you guys can use in whatever you use garlic for. But first, a few tips or a few facts about garlic. Garlic and onions are a part of the Allium genus, which includes over 500 species of mostly edible plants, and that includes leeks, chives, and shallots. And although garlic does grow year-round, it tends to have a sweeter and richer flavor when harvested between September and January. So this video is launching in November, so this is the perfect time to start incorporating garlic because it has a very sweet and richer flavor than it normally does throughout the rest of the year. So here we have a head of garlic, and we're just going to show you some basic ways in which to prep your garlic. So a head of garlic typically holds about 15 to 20 cloves. And right here we just have a clove, and a clove typically holds about 1 to 2 teaspoons for a recipe. So a clove, you can usually get about 1 to 2 teaspoons out of it. So right here I'm just using the face of my knife to just go over it nice and easy, and that's just to crack that paper open so that I can get the actual flesh of the clove out of it and then begin chopping it and prepping it. So many people will begin with using, as you can see, I'm getting ready to use my chef knife here, but if you're a little intimidated by the chef knife, you can use a paring knife, a smaller knife. And with this paring knife, I'm going to do a nice rough chop. I'm going to just start by just doing a nice simple rough chop. The technique I'm using is with a traditional culinary dicing technique that is normally done on tomatoes, but this will work out just fine with a paring knife and a clove of garlic as well. So again, this is a nice rough chop. So the next way we're going to chop is my favorite way to chop garlic is just by using my chef knife. So what I'm doing here is I'm just flattening the clove, and I'm just going to do a nice fine mince. It's going to go from a nice chop to a mince as I go through it. So the first pass with my knife, I'm just going right over the garlic to just break it down nice and easy with every pass, and then I repeat that same pass again to get it down to an even finer chop here. And what I'm showing you here is the rocking motion that you can continuously use back and forth with your chef knife as you break things like your garlic, for example, obviously, but you can also use this cutting technique for chopping and mincing herbs. So that is a very safe way. If you're not completely comfortable with your knife, that's just a great, safe way to mince and break down your garlic or herbs or whatever it is that you want to get a fine cut on in that way. And now as you can see, we're moving toward mincing. Okay, so you can see the particulates of the garlic are getting smaller and smaller. You can also see that it's very sticky, right? So I'm working a little bit harder to get the garlic off of the face or each side of the knife. And so that is because, again, going back to our fact at the beginning of the video, garlic is much more sticky because it's sweeter, right? So the reason why it's sweeter this time of the year is because it has developed much more fructose content than it normally does throughout the year. So again, this is a really great time to roast with garlic, really cook with garlic. You're going to get a lot of those sweet notes, a lot of those rich notes that we all love garlic for when it comes to its flavor. So here I'm just mincing some more, just really breaking it down and making sure that I'm getting it as small as possible. And you can break it down to however small you'd like it to be, depending on the recipe that you're using. So in a mince is a great size for sauces and spreads, if you're making an aioli, things like that, so that you're not getting such an overwhelming bite as you would like a rough chop. So a rough chop is not as even. And so we're moving into a paste now. With a mince and also with a paste, these are very fine cuts in which you can use in much more smoother applications like a sauce. You can still cook with it, saute with it, whatever it is that you like to do. But when you mince, your intent is to mix it into more of a homogeneous application like a sauce or an aioli or a spread. For that purpose. Okay, so here with mincing, you can see how I'm using my knife. I'm taking the blade, the cutting edge of my knife, and I'm applying pressure to the garlic that I've minced to break it down a little bit more. Okay, so you want to just use a little bit of pressure as you're passing and gliding with a bit of pressure over that garlic, so that you're squeezing out that sugar and you're squeezing out that free water to get that pasty texture that you see that I'm getting here in this demo. And so now we're gonna put it in an application. All right, so we're gonna make a compound butter. And for those of you that don't know what a compound butter is, this is a great application to use for flavoring your butter if you're really into using butter as a flavoring application. So I've got some chopped parsley there. I added a little salt and pepper, and then I added our paste of garlic. And then we're gonna roll it up into some plastic wrap, and we're going to form it into a nice and even roll, so that whatever our application, we can just make nice and even slices for whatever application that we're using with this compound butter. The cool thing about compound butter is you can make it savory or sweet. So another type of compound butter, instead of the garlic and the parsley, you can do sugar and cinnamon. Or brown sugar and cinnamon, however you want to do it. Compound butter is a really cool way to flavor your butter and add flavor to other foods that you're making. So here is our finished product. We've got it in a nice roll. And like I said, it's great for spreading on crostinis or toast, even on compound butters on if you're into steak or beef or things like that. And here we're just adding it as a cooking vehicle as well. So instead of just adding butter to a pan to saute, you can use your compound butter, and it's got that flavor built in from the garlic and from the parsley and salt and pepper, which makes it awesome to saute whatever it is that you want to cook. So thanks so much for watching. We hope this was extremely helpful for you guys. Please stop back again and have a great day.